Hello and welcome to another Glimpses of Osaka. I'm standing out in Hattori Ryokuchi Kona, or Hattori Ryokuchi Park, with all the old farmhouses. This is where you can find the houses that people lived in back in the Edo period. And it's close to Osaka. It's only a couple minutes train ride out here. Now, before you go and have a look at the farmhouses, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell, because there's a lot more Glimpses of Osaka coming up yet. So most of the houses you're going to find out here are all from the Edo period, back in the 17th to 19th century, and were mainly moved here in the 1950s, 1960s, or they were reconstructed and set here in this park. So you can come here. It costs 500 yen to come and see it, but it's just a really nice park, and you can wander around and check out all the old houses and see how people used to live, because you can go inside them too. Now, this old farmhouse is from Gifu Prefecture, a very mountainous region, and this is from Shirakawa. If you ever get a chance to go to Shirakawa, it's just this cool little town of all these thatched roof houses. Notice, heavy thatch, and that thatch is not really held in place. It's really flexible. It allows a bit of flex for the building, which of course, when you live in a country full of earthquakes, always a good idea, flexibility. So the name of this kind of building, notice how the roof comes up and it meets together like that. They call it gasho zukuri, gasho making. And you know what it means is gasho is like praying hands. It's like the hands come, the fingertips touch together, but the palms don't touch. So this is called gasho, and this is gasho made roofs. Alright, so this is the ones from Gifu. Let's go on and have a look at some other ones. Alright, so here's another old house. Now this one is from kind of a mountainous area of Miyazaki down in Kyushu. And it's built in narrow valleys, so the houses are narrow. They're long and narrow. In fact, you see here, it just goes on and on and on. And all the rooms are in a row, from one room to the next to the next to the next. The only thing that divides them is sliding doors between the rooms, so you have to go through each room to get to the far room if you want to go through the house. Windows and doors on the valley side, on the open side, but not on the mountain side. So there's nothing on the mountain side. It's all closed off on that side, which actually, if you're south facing, makes good sense to keep from freezing in winter, isn't it? You gotta keep the heat in. Of course, here in Osaka and in Japan, you want the breezes in the summer, like we're getting today. It's kind of nice today. Hot, but a bit windy. All right, let's go have a look inside this one. Now, in these old houses, what we have, first of all, have a earthen, really packed dirt floor. And this is where you come in and you do like your cooking. See, there's the kitchen. That is the kitchen right there. Kind of fire going, a big pot for cooking rice, a big pot for cooking something else, like a nabe or something like that, a hot pot. But then, when you get up into the rest of the house is always built up. And that's to remind you to take your shoes off. You know, in Japan, we never wear shoes inside the house. So that protects the wooden floors and the tatami mats and everything inside there. You'd wear slippers in there. So, everything's cooked here in the kitchen. Go inside here. And you can see here, and I can see what I was saying about the sliding doors from one room to the next to the next. So, that could be a couple families living here, or many, many generations. Probably a lot like the farmhouses in Switzerland, where quite a few generations live in the same farmhouse. And look at this. This is called a iori. It's where we cook. You can also cook in here, so you can have something going over top, like sitting around a nice fire in winter and cooking. I saw this when I was up in Shirakawago, Shirakawa, and we sat around the fire, and it was cold up there, and it was really inviting to sit around the fire. All right, and see here, you can see there's the rooms. And then out the front here, and then out onto a small veranda outside. So you can sit out there, especially in summer, and enjoy the breezes. So you can see out here also, they don't just have the houses, they also have, this is the barn to go with that Miyazaki house. So this would be beside the house, just over a little ways is the barn where they can keep some livestock. Okay, now this is again a different style of Japanese house. This is from a very remote and for a long time was isolated region of Nagano. Now in Nagano Prefecture, they get a lot of snow. That's why skiing is so great up there. So these places would be just totally locked in with snow. Well, look at the walls, all thatched. Great insulation. I mean, these people were making insulation way before we were making fiberglass insulation for our houses, and cellulite and everything else that we use. So it's a great idea. It would keep it warm in winter because that's a lot of insulation right there. And of course, look at the roof. That is really thick thatch. It looks like about at least a foot and a half, or about 60 centimeters depth of roof on there, and that's going to keep the snow and the cold out. All right, let's go inside. We're going to have to duck because that door is super low. Now, everything here, like the Genkan area, is covered with roof because to keep the snow out, and a low door to keep the snow from blowing in. And in here, they could actually open up a bigger door and let the animals in. Here's where they would keep the horses. So they had the horses in here. Look at this big cook pot right there. An area over here for, I guess it looks like for cleaning, setting up the horses' feed and stuff. And then you come into where you're living. So here, this is all just packed dirt floor. So you know, with lots of snow and all, you can come in with your boots and stuff into here. And just one part of the house over to the side is actually where you take your shoes off to go into there. Look at this. Actually, not even tatami mats like we have nowadays. Very rough tatami mats. You gotta remember, again, this area was totally isolated, so they probably hadn't seen the tatami mats that were being made in other parts of the country, and they just came up with these. They're very simple ones they made, but again, insulation on the floor, keeping everything comfortable. Look at the walls. Even on the inside there, there's thatch. And then here, of course, again, where you'd have a fire going. All right, here's another style of architecture here, and this is from between Nara and Wakayama, down in a mountainous area down there, and they have a lot of cedar, so you can see lots of cedar is used. Even the roof, cedar. And one of the reasons is being that it rains a lot down there, so the cedar is good for channeling the water off the roof. So cedar shakes. Hey, we had them here in Japan too. And you see the walls, everything's made of cedar. Except for the, of course, the warehouse. The warehouses had to be made of something much stronger and not likely to burn, because that's where all the valuable rice and other stuff was kept. Now, as with many older Japanese houses, you're going to find a veranda. Most of these here have it. We used to call it an engawa, and it runs around the house. It's covered. It's a great place to sit, especially. Remember, we get hot summers, so you want to get outside. The house is stifling in the evening. While the house is cooling down a bit, you're going outside on your veranda and just enjoying it. I wish we still had that with our new houses. All right, as you can see behind me, there's a lot more old houses here to check out. So if you get a chance, come up to Ryokuchi Koen Station on the Miro-Suji subway line. You're just coming out of Shinosaka, a couple stops north of there, and then you just walk over to the park. It's not very far. Walk through the park. You'll see the signs that say Old House Museum. Then come over here. It's just fantastic. It's a nice place too. Just I've seen a couple of people here having their lunches, sitting on in front of these old houses and stuff. Just a fantastic place to come. Now, if you like this look, this little glimpse of Osaka, please let me know with a like, and also any comments or questions about the houses, please in the comments down below. I like to see those, and I'll see you in the next Glimpse of Osaka.